Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and to another episode. Well, this will be a shorter video, sort of a small project I have in mind. Ever since I bought this John Deere 140, I've been acquiring different attachments for it, different options. So I have these pallet forks here for the 3-point hitch. I have a front mounted PTO, a sleeve hitch, and 2 sets of wheel weights for the back, 1 set for the front, and also have this John Deere 3-point hitch. So my plan is to build a cart or a stand so I can store these attachments on there. I plan to use wood, and I'd like to have this thing on caster wheels just because if all of these parts are on there, that's quite a bit of weight, and that way it'll be easier to move around on the garage floor. So stay tuned and hope you enjoy. So the reason I'm using wood is it's easy to work with, it's relatively inexpensive, and this is like a prototype, so it's a bit easier to change things if I want to redesign this to make things fit better or change anything up. So I'm using 2x4s for this, and I've cut 10 pieces at 22 inches long. So these pieces are all for the base, and we'll go ahead and put the base together. Okay, I'm starting out here with 4 pieces which will form the base. Now I've measured the pallet forks I have, and that basically set the width of this. So again, this is a 22 by 22 square, and those pallet forks, both of them will slide right in between these two 2x4s. So I'll check for square, and we'll pre-drill some holes, and we'll get these 4 pieces screwed together. All right, I have the base together. All the screws are in. Now, I'm deciding to use 2x4s for the first layer of this, and I have 6 of these cut, and that will span our 22 inches with about a 1/16 inch gap in between each of them. And this first layer is what I plan to put my wheel weights on. So I'll be able to fit 2 sets of rear wheel weights and 1 set of front wheel weights on this. And then the pallet forks, they will slide in right below this first layer. And of course, this will all be on those caster wheels. So next, I'll get these 6 2x4s screwed into the base. So I got all 6 2x4s screwed into the base, and I've cut the uprights. These are 42 inches tall, and for now, they're just sitting here. So that will make the uprights. And I've also cut some more 2x4s. I have 2 at 19 and 2 at 22, 2 sets of those, and those will form the frames for the second row or the second layer, and then the very top. So next I'll get those frames built, and then we'll get the uprights to tie them all together. Okay, we got our 2 shelves made. They're basically 22 by 22. So just 2x4s turned on their side, and we'll go ahead and get these laid out on the floor with that base and start drilling those uprights. Okay, have everything laid out here. Again, the uprights are 42 inches. I'm going clear to the bottom of the last 2x4 on the base and clear to the top so it's flush. And I plan to do a 14-inch opening on the bottom and then a 16-inch opening at the top. Okay, got the one side down, flip it over here and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, all 4 of the uprights are now on, and I bought 1/2-inch plywood. These are 2 foot by 2 foot sheets, already pre-cut. I'll use one of those for the middle and the other for the top. But before I add those, I might add 1 2x4 brace right in the center to help back that plywood up. I got the braces in now, so this thing is about done. What I might do next is get those casters on the bottom, and then because these are 24 inches, I'll need to rip 2 inches off each way to make 2 22 by 22, and then we'll get that screwed down on each shelf. So these casters are good for 225 pounds. That's what they say. And I think I'm going to space the bracket so that I pick up the upright piece just like this. That will help give me a wider wheelbase for stability and just help take some of that load and kind of brace this bottom corner. So we'll get these casters on next. Okay, we got all 4 casters on. I'll go ahead and get this flipped over now. It rolls nice. So last thing to do will be to get those pieces of plywood cut, get those on here, and then we'll see how everything fits. Got both sheets of plywood cut and screwed down. So this thing's about done. Go ahead and do a test fit and see how all the attachments fit on it. I think one thing I'll need to do, there's a few items like this sleeve hitch lift rod. My plan is to put a hook, like an anchor style hook on the side here, so I can hang this and maybe even hang that top link for the 3-point hitch as well. So I still need to buy those eye bolts or hooks, but for now, let's get everything else on there. And these front weights weigh 33 pounds a piece. So we'll set those on there. As you can see, there's plenty of extra room. If you had any more weights, I just wanted some extra clearance here so that it was easy to get them in. Sort of if you have to roll the weights in and set them down. So definitely adds a lot of weight. That's 266 pounds on the bottom of this thing. It's still rolling, so that's good. So that 3-point hitch fits on there nicely. And that was the single largest piece, so that sort of set my dimensions for this. I wanted to keep the size of this thing as small as possible, basically just large enough to fit these parts on there and nothing more. I can set my top link on there as well. Next, put the Brindley lift fork attachment in the bottom. I think these things weigh roughly 45 pounds or so. So again, the overall width of this is roughly 21 inches or so. So that fits, or it clears nicely. No overhang there. And it's also designed so that the forks do not stick out past the back. They're just right inside here. So that'll be a nice place to store that lift fork. Right there out of the way. So all the bolts I use for the wheel weights, I can store right there on the bottom. So that way they're always with the weights. Like I said, I plan to hang this lift rod on the side. Should fit there nicely. And the sleeve hitch, my plan is to maybe hang this on the side, or I can slide that PTO to the one side and sit this up there on the other side. All right, so after looking at this PTO a bit more, I realized the way I had it sitting, which was on this surface, it was actually leaking oil. I think that's one of the fill plugs, or maybe a relief style plug. So I decided to turn it more or less how it sits on the tractor. Seems pretty sturdy, and that way it won't leak everywhere. So I think that about wraps this video up. That sleeve hitch, I know I can sit it right inside of here, or if I need to, I can add a bolt or a hook on the side and hang that there. So again, nothing really fancy here. This is just a wooden freestanding shelf on caster wheels, but it's purpose built and designed to fit these attachments. It's nice to have these attachments all in one place, off the floor, and it's mobile, so it's easy to move around the shop. So I appreciate you watching. Make sure you stay tuned. We'll have a video soon coming out of this John Deere 3-point hitch. And we'll be getting this tractor set up soon for plowing. So I'll be adding the wheel weights to that tractor and making sure that our 3-point is set up. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.